We're live on YouTube. Uh, we'll give people till 1:20 a little time to come on and click on the video. All right, it is now 1:20. It's time to start. What is up, guys? Welcome to our youth engagement series. I am your host, Chris, along with my two co-hosts, Ellen and Amada. What's up, guys? How are you guys doing this week? How was your guys' weekend, and how are you guys doing in total?
Hey, Chris. Hey, everyone. Sorry, Amada. My week's been good, and I'm glad to see you guys and be on Zoom again this week.
Same mood as Ellen, just, hey, everyone, how's it going? I'm trying to get a little bit of sunshine today. It's weird weather lately, so just getting out when I can, but hope everyone's doing good as well.
Back to you, Chris.
Yeah. I hope. You might be lagging.
Sorry, guys. My thing's a little lagging. So I know you guys are probably wondering what happened to my shoes behind me, why they're all gone, and why there's a bunch of comic books and some masks behind me, and why Amada has a background of Gotham City. Today's theme, or this week's theme, is going to be heroes. So that's why I don't have any shoes. So we're going to talk about heroes, both superheroes and regular heroes that influence us. And we are going to have some stuff for you guys also on our YouTube and our Instagram. So make sure you guys watch that. You guys like superheroes? You guys into heroes? What do you guys think of this topic?
Ellen,
I'm definitely into watching the Marvel movies. I mean, everyone is, but I'm not so much into the comics of heroes. I'm more into like real life heroes and what they do for us, because there's a lot of like real life heroes in our lives that are directly related to comic book heroes and that how they influence us. And so yeah, I definitely got a lot of heroes out there that have been keeping watch over me.
I can relate to that. I think when I was younger, I was super into like Batman and that whole like younger superhero who's just like wearing the t-shirts of it, not a bathing suit. I remember that was Batman. But more lately, kind of realizing who your heroes are kind of around you more as that I've grown into adulthood. It's kind of been, that's a little cheesy, but and I think one of the things we were talking about beforehand is kind of what we're going to talk about today. And I think there's a lot of underground heroes too, without realizing it, and people that kind of turn into that superhero, whether, I think the TV kind of makes it crazy though, but what about you, Chris?
I'm a superhero. I'm a comic book nerd, as you can see by all the stuff behind me. This is only a fraction of it. I have just as many comic books as I have shoes, and I have shirts, obviously, a bunch of stuff. But I find so many similarities between the superheroes that you find in like comic books and the regular people that you have in your guys' lives or in lives in general, because normal people are amazing. They do great things. So that kind of leads me to my first question. What is a hero? What does a hero do? Who is it? Like, it's both a superhero and a non-superhero. So what do you guys think a hero is?
For me, a hero is a person or maybe an animal that kind of just gives out all of their heart and care for other living beings and does the work to kind of like protect, care for, and help other living beings, kind of like selflessly. So putting themselves out there, giving their time, and I think that's what a hero is to me. Any kind of person or thing that has the heart and care for other living beings and does the work to do it. So yeah.
For me, I think a hero, somebody who's like nature, nurture, but also kind of steps up and is kind of that courageous side. Not necessarily something where it's like daredevil-y or has to be super adventurous, but will kind of step out of that comfort zone or step up and be that person when needed. I think that kind of, and not necessarily making that makes them a hero, but I think it builds up to that characteristic and stuff. But I also think that was interesting too. Like animals definitely are that sense that what Ellen was kind of touching on. I think there's multiple aspects of being a hero too, and other people are heroes to this or that. But I also think it's interesting how Chris was like thinking, relating it to actual movie heroes and how we can kind of relate to that too, because I didn't really think about that, and how I wish I had the video pulled up, but there was a video that somebody did for youth who experienced disabilities, and they made them into superheroes, and they like decked them all out and like dressed them crazy and did a crazy photo shoot and like gave them a Thor hammer and like all of this crazy stuff. And some of them experienced like were in a wheelchair, different stuff, so they would like crazy do their wheelchair like Flash, and it was cool, but it just gave them that like empowerment. And I think that's huge for something to build off of too, and I connect in that way.
Yeah, I think that's really, really important. I'm glad you talked about that because the reason I got so into comic books and superheroes in the first place was because of my little brother. He like wants to be a superhero. He wants to be like this bigger than life person, and that's kind of what I see as superheroes or even heroes in general, being these people who are gonna do what's right first, gonna try and do their best and help other people. They may not be perfect, they'll have these flaws, but they're still gonna do whatever they can to be their best and and help out these other people. For me, heroes is just, whether superheroes or heroes in real life, there's someone who I can look up to, someone who I can look as a role model, or someone I can even look at, say like, yeah, they made mistakes, yeah, they have hard times in their life, but they've gotten through it and they've been able to see the light and be the best person they can be at even their weakest time. So that's kind of what I see as a hero, whether a superhero or and I'm not saying like regular people are superheroes. This means put that out there. Like there's no difference between a comic book hero and a person who's like helping us out, our nurses and our doctors that helping out COVID. Those are all superheroes. They're just, one is a little more fantastical and the other one is more real life. So everybody's a hero. Everybody has their own superhero kind of mentality. They just have to, it's just how they put it out there. So my second question to you guys is, who is your hero, whether it's a superhero or someone that is in your life, and why are they so important to you?
So I think a hero in my life would have to be like the majority of my family, because a lot of them are just like so selfless and caring, and they put their time in to help one another and also the community, just like spiritually and physically. And talk about my dad. My dad just like is so humble and caring, and he helps all of our family as much as he can, and he never complains. And my mom, she's the director of TANF, so she does a lot of social work like we do, and she's just like doing a good job and taking care of people as much as she can. And I just really appreciate the both of them for putting their time out and doing that. And there's a lot of people that are heroes in my life. Like there's a whole long list. I don't know if I want to talk about them right now, but like my bosses and supervisors, Shay and Virgil, are also heroes in my life. Like they're keeping me employed. They're teaching me so many things within the career that I want to do. And so, yeah, there's a ton of people in my life that are heroes, and family and bosses and supervisors are the closest I can talk about right now as being a hero. What about you, Amada?
For me, I think it's going to my elders. I think my Nana is pretty good hero for me in the sense she's kind of done a lot in her little life, I feel like, in the sense of being a grandma, taking on grandkids. I know there's some grandparents out there that do that, but she's done a lot for, I think, my brothers and myself, and set like the role of what you kind of do for that. And I also think another hero too, like I kind of think there's different heroes for different stuff like that I go through, or like kind of what Ellen was saying. But another one of my heroes would be kind of for sports and school and stuff, with a coach from high school, Lynch. I've kind of gone back, her name's Kathleen Lynch, but I always say Lynch is just the coach name. But just stuff that people that have pushed me in different times in life, and then they've allowed me to come back and work with kids too, just kind of like our bosses too. I think there's different heroes for different stuff in my life too, where I'm kind of going for, whether it's working or giving back to the community in that sense too. But I think those are the two main ones.
I'm glad you brought up our supervisors and our bosses, especially Shay. I tried to get her on today, but she didn't want to come on. She made some kind of excuse that she had to work or whatever, but that's fine. I'm not upset at all, but it's okay. Shay is is my hero too, one of my mentors. She's awesome. She is someone who holds me accountable when I'm not doing my job. She's teaching me what to do. She will joke with me. She will talk mess to me. She will just be a normal person. I think that's what makes her a good hero. And I know she's listening to this, so I do want to say happy belated birthday, Shay. And if you're not listening to this, you need to start listening to this, because you are the ones who fought for this, so you better start. For me, my heroes, besides like you guys said, our bosses and some certain people at Humboldt State in the social work and the NAS department, I have to thank them too. But for me, my biggest hero was my grandfather. Just because of the stuff that he went through. He grew up in Chicago as a poor Black man. He went through some trials and tribulations and some tough times, but he ended up getting his doctorate from USC, and being that person who pushed and didn't like what he saw in the medical field. So he's like, I'm gonna do it my way. I'm gonna go through all the BS so no one else has to, and I'm gonna if I see something wrong, I'm going to try and fix it and be that person, of that voice. So that's kind of what I see as a hero. And also both my mom and my dad, just because they're people that push me. They're people that got me to where I am. And that's kind of what a hero is. And then also, Batman, I got my little Batman action figure here too, just because he's one of my heroes and I look up to. I like reading him. He look up to him as well. But my next question for you guys is, what do you guys see in a hero? Like, are they allowed to have flaws? Are they allowed to be scared? Are they allowed to be human beings? Like, what makes a hero who they are?
I think in a lot of the hero situations that we see in movies, and even in real life, there's always something that's a negative, that's a protagonist, or antagonist, that's kind of like pushing back the person and giving them a really hard time, and they persevere past that hard time, or whatever, or whoever's pushing them back negatively, and they persevere that, and then they go on to do better instead of being bitter about it. So I guess heroes go through a lot of crap. They have a lot of negative things that happen in their life, and they're the people that still push past those negative things that are affecting them, and they become a person that takes care of other people or things and is a positive influence on other people. And so, yeah, a hero can have a rough life. A hero could have an easy life, but just like any person or human being, we all go through different things, and you can still become this person that is looked up to and is a community caretaker and an activist and whatever. You can become a hero besides the negativities that have happened in your life. So yeah, just being yourself and caring for one another and having empathy. A hero is kind of all of those things, I think, to me, as from the examples that I spoke of. So yeah.
I think heroes can have like a multitude of characteristics, and I don't think they have to have the big old like tough guy or like sidekick or like evil villain type of thing, or there's always a bad to good type of thing. I think there could just be heroes. And some people might view heroes too, like it might be a hero to somebody else, and then somebody else it's like, no, that how do you view it that way? So it's also the kind of viewpoint you have. But I think it comes in all shapes and sizes, and the character you can become you're not born a hero, so you can, I think you hear stories of like younger kids doing crazy things like saving their siblings from I don't know, I've read recently that was just something. And then you hear older people doing something crazy, or like, I don't, and there's different stuff. Like, I just like the feel good stories too, where like people are kind of doing little nice things. And it's not, I look at those as being heroes too, in a sense. But I think there can be a multitude of characteristics, and it could be a good, bad. You can have, I don't think there's a good or a bad person, but I think if you've done bad stuff in your life, there's always a time you can turn it around to, and not necessarily make you a hero, but you can do stuff that are characteristics to build up what you think your own hero would be, or think about like what you would like somebody, how you would view a hero. That's kind of how I think about it too. I kind of bring it to youth mentoring and stuff like that. But
Yeah, heroes are not perfect. They're not meant to be perfect. They're not trying to be, well, they can try to be perfect, but they're gonna make mistakes. I know that one of the reasons I do like Batman so much is because he goes through so much up and downs and so much turmoil, and he's not perfect. He makes mistakes, and when you're reading him, it's a intriguing read, but two, it makes it so that you learn alongside the heroes. And the best way I've learned from some of my heroes is them telling me the stories of how they made a mistake and how they got through a mistake. So it's good to know that heroes don't have to be perfect, and you as a person does not have to be perfect. Honestly, I wish life was like a video game or a comic book where like all I gotta do is do something to that one little dragon, and then I'm good for the rest of my life, and I never have to worry about anything else ever. But that's not how life is. You're gonna go through ups and downs. You're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna be able to do some stuff you wish you didn't do, or you're gonna have to face some hard times. And heroes are people who are able to get through that and show other people how to get through that and learn from their mistakes. So that kind of goes on to my next question for you guys is what do you think is the most important thing you have learned from your heroes?
This is like another big hard question because there's so many things that I've learned from my heroes. I think the first thing and the best thing that I could have learned from my heroes is taking care of my community, because that's just what we're supposed to do, and that's what we're taught in our culture, and that's how that's just like tradition, and that's how our religion works. But it's also just basic kindness and caring for one another. And even if some people frustrate you, you you have the patience to just wait it out and still like understand why they may be upset or may be frustrating you. And I think community is the biggest thing for me, because they're always going to be there. They're always going to have my back. And yeah, just learning to care for the community as a whole and having patience to work with community. So I think that's the biggest thing for me. That's why I want to do social work, because there's a lot of people out there that I would like to be a positive influence in their life. So, yeah.
For me, I think one of the things that I could take away from a hero in my life, I think it's just kind of pushing through things necessarily. When I think of like my hero and how I could apply it to all aspects of my life, what I've taken from them, but just like through coaching, just pushing, but then also like being there. I think that's huge. Like my grandma and the people that I've looked to, they've been there for me in times when it's kind of been hard, and you kind of, you know, when people are there for you and you can reach out to them, but when it's necessarily hard to do that, they've always kind of done that for me and done that extra thing. And I think that takes some courageous moves in a sense of a hero, but it's also being there for people, I think, and what is pushed off to me, and just being able to be a voice for somebody when they don't necessarily have one. I think that's been huge for me, whether it's been my grandma's kind of been that person for me ever since I've been little. And then coaching wise, my coaches have always kind of pushed me past points to where I still want to come back and give kids that same feeling that I got, like coach them enough to where it's like, get in there, but then also like know the limit of it. Like, and it's been fun. We got an NCS title last, and it was really fun. But I think it's just been something for me that I've gotten and taken away.
Yeah, those are great things you guys are saying. For me, I was taught to always be yourself, no matter what. No matter what kind of mistakes you made, what embarrassing things you've done, kind of you don't be anything you're not. So my grandparents and my dad, they were people who were like, they made mistakes. They were embarrassed at times. They didn't do some stuff they should have done, and they always owned up to it. They were always like, it happens, but they always taught me to have like, not laugh at it, but have a sense of humor with stuff. You're gonna make mistakes. You're not gonna be perfect. You're gonna do some stuff you wish you didn't do, but laugh about it later, like, or learn from it, or don't dwell too much on the negative stuff, because then if you dwell too much on that, you're not going to look positive, or you're not going to be able to move on and be where you want to be. So that's kind of the biggest thing I learned. Just, and have fun. Like, be a sarcastic butthole sometimes. Be that meanie. Be that mess with your friends. Joke with people. Make them laugh. This world has, if you not laughing at stuff that's happening, you can kind of look at it and get kind of depressed. So you see the goodness in the world and see the hilarity and stuff that's happening. That's kind of the biggest thing I learned. So the next question I have for you guys is just, can someone be a hero without them knowing it, or does someone have to make you a hero, or does someone have to tell you like you're my hero, or can they just be a hero?
There's a lot of heroes that we don't even know about in this world that are influencing us in great ways. One example would be Walt Lara and the NICPA. They did all of this work for us so that we could protect our people and our religion. And most of us don't even know about that history unless you directly learn about it, which I did in my class and when I had Kishan. There's a lot of people that fought for our rivers and our fish that we don't know about, and they were all heroes to us. So there's a lot of people out there that influence your life in a positive way that you don't know about. So it's kind of like the humility of that They're not there showing it off, but they were there taking care of you when you didn't even know about it. So you could be that positive influence on someone and they might not know it, but you still did the work and you're still caring for them. So that's what makes you a hero. You don't need to be shown off to the world. Yeah.
I agree. I think secret heroes are cooler than heroes that make themselves established. But I think for me, kind of secret heroes are kind of those people where you kind of look and you're like, hey, I wish I could be more like them. Or you see something where you're like, not a lot of people have commented on it, but it's something that's their natural ability. Like some of that I've seen naturally with school. Like some people, school was something that I really put a lot into, even in high school. And there were some kids that would just natural ability be able to like, I don't know where I'm going with this, but I feel like you can just be a natural hero without even knowing, in the sense of like what you're doing. Kids would help me in the sense in doing stuff, and they would set examples for me where they didn't even know that they were setting those examples for me to help other students, or be kind of that resourcefulness. Because it kind of, for me, connecting it with school, I don't know, that's just the big thing. But even recently going back and doing scholarships, there were some high school teachers where I've gone back and give back to like my alma mater, like going back to the school and doing some stuff, just giving back. And I think that's a huge thing for some of the teachers, because they were like my undercover heroes, whether they knew it or not. And I think it's fun to go back and kind of expose them, and they realize it once you kind of come back and you be like, hey, they're like, oh, I did make an impact on their life or do that. And so I think teachers are a big one. But I think too, I think how Ellen ended on that, like you can be a hero if you, whether or not you know it, and maybe just keep doing good. I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, I'll take it back to some of the comic book stuff. Usually, if you read a comic book, the person who is trying to be the hero and trying to be the one who's like, oh, look at me, I'm getting the attention, is usually not the hero in the story. The hero in the story is usually the one who is like just trying to be themselves and trying to help other people. So that's kind of what I think as like being a hero without even knowing it. And like to talk about my personal life, some of my heroes are like the kids that we work with at Two Feathers, or the kids that I see that are doing just some great things in the world. I saw a kid, I think it was 2 nights ago, was at one of the protests. She was only 15, and she was rapping about the injustice in the world and speaking on it and being that leader. And that girl, that girl to me is one of my heroes now because of what she did. Or like the heroes that are going to be, I'm going to promote one of our stuff for Two Feathers right now. We're going to have a substance abuse conference that's put on by some of our kids next week that we're going to talk about. Those kids are my heroes. The kids that I work with, those are kids that are doing great things. They're trying to help other people. That's what a hero does, and that's what a hero should look like. Not one who's looking to be a hero, looking for that whatever that money for the hero, that whatever that. If you're looking for that stuff, you're not a hero. My final or last question is who for you guys is, if you had anything to say to your heroes right now, what would it be? I'll start with you,
Ellen. I would say to them, thank you for all that you do, and just know that I really do appreciate it, and I give all of my credit to my life and my accomplishments to you, my heroes, and please stay safe and wash your hands, because I can't afford to lose any of you.
For me, I would just say no good deed went undone. I feel that I can really look and think to my heroes and what I want to be kind of for the, like working with kids today. I think it's given me a very good example to be able to just look and be able to thank you for like the advice that you've given me. It's kind of weird because I'm not talking to them, but I am. But I would also say kind of just know that it carries on. Like, you don't have, I think a lot of people will do one good deed and then kind of sit on that and be like, oh, I did something good for a little while. Or I hear like a lot of older generations in the sense, they'll be kind of like, oh, I did that and my good deed's done for a while. And I think the people that have been my heroes just continuously can always did that. And I think that's rubbed off on me. And I think the work that we do in Two Feathers, I think that shows that as well. But.
Yeah, for me, it's kind of the same thing. Like, I miss my heroes. I miss you guys. You guys could be a little nicer on your jokes, but that's okay. No, I'm just kidding. I think you guys are doing great things. I want you guys to continue to do great things and keep pushing me to be better. Keep pushing you two guys to be better. And then just keep being yourselves, keep being those heroes. And even if you don't get any recognition, that's not what you're doing it for. You guys are still doing awesome stuff. There's people who are looking up to you whether you know it or not. So if you're doing, whether you're doing good things or bad things, there's always someone looking out for you and looking out for you. You got to make sure you see those people. Got to make sure that you are able to recognize that those people are watching you and those people care about you. So and then to my my grandpa, I miss you. Rest in peace. I love you. That's the end of our show today about heroes. Before we leave, I want to promote again what's going on next week. We have our substance abuse conference that is put on by our youth. Ellen, I know you have some stuff you want to say about that, so please.
Yeah, the Youth Substance Abuse Conference starts on the 22nd, and it's going to be on the Two Feathers Facebook page live from 12 to 1 every day. So from the 22nd to the 26th, it will be on Facebook from 12 to 1. So just tune in to the Two Feathers Facebook. The second day, we're going to have Edward Gusto Bowie. I think that's how you say it. Second day, we'll have Robbie Lara. And the third day, we'll have Frank Waln. So yeah, there's like a lot of exciting people going to be talking about substance abuse, and we'll be having youth on there who planned this conference and who are going to be talking and asking questions. So it'll be important for people to watch and see the younger generation kind of combat this subject. So yeah, that's it.
I think too, the youth that are really in these like talks each week or each day, excuse me, I think they've really put a lot into this too, and the conversations we've been having with the planning meetings and such have been going very well, and deep talks and kind of really good questions for the speakers, and the speakers have been bringing some good stories too, so please tune in. I think it's going to be really good.
Yeah, that's it for today. Please make sure you guys look at that. Don't tell my kids this, but they are my heroes. They're great. They're going to be awesome next week. I don't want their heads to get too big before they start, so don't tell them that till afterwards. But please make sure you guys check that out. We are going to be with that, so we may not have a live next week, but we will be on Facebook with our youth. Please make sure you guys keep looking out on our Facebook, on our Instagram to see what's going on. We also have, not next week, but the week after, our graduation ceremony for our kids that are graduating. And we're gonna have some exciting stuff for those kids and for you guys coming up. So make sure you guys check that out. That's all I got for this week. See you guys later. Wait, I can't get off. Hold on, wait.